She's a blustery, cold winter starting up here in Canada, my friends. And the Blue Jays, well, they're already thinking about the spring and putting together that staff that'll hopefully get the team through the hump in the playoffs in the expanded playoff format after the failure against the Seattle Mariners. My friends, today the Blue Jays showing interest in hiring Don Mattingly as their bench coach for this upcoming season. Clem will have more details in a second. But folks, if you're new to the channel right now, I am Yak, this is Clem Hawks, and we are glad to have you along for today's video. Of course, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying tonight's topic, I'd encourage you at some point to hit that subscribe button as we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by year's end. We're sitting 38:68 on the clock just as we're getting this video going this evening. However, 5,000, long stretch, but we can get there with your help this evening, bit by bit. Clem, that said, I think the last thing I have to wrap up before I hand it over to you is if you enjoyed tonight's topic as well, let us know with a like on the video. And Clem, to you, Don Mattingly, Toronto Blue Jays, bench coach situation. The last bench coach became the manager and led us to the playoffs, but then got turfed by the Seattle Mariners. Where are we sitting on this one?
Yeah, I'm a big Don Mattingly fan, mainly because he was with the Marlins for a while, and it's very clear Miami. It's a sad thing. Miami is not a winning program, and it's going to take a few years to get there. And I just don't think Don Mattingly was that guy. He wasn't that guy. He even admitted in an interview that I'll probably reference a few times today that he's getting old. He's 61, but he's had a lot of managerial experience and with the Dodgers, with the Marlins, like he was with the Marlins for like 6 years, the Dodgers with 4 or 5 years. Like he's got a ton of experience, but none of those teams ever won, right? So it was clear that he was not the guy to manage the team in Miami, especially with just how bad the organization is. So he stepped away. I think he at the end of last year, wanted to step away from the managing perspective and give Miami a different look at leadership and try to make something happen there. And I thought he was done. I thought he was done. I thought he said he was done. But now, yeah, like you said, yeah, he looks like he's in talks, deep talks with the Blue Jays to become their bench coach, which is very interesting.
So, in a situation where the Blue Jays have more or less a rookie manager at the helm in John Schneider next season, I believe if the details are correct in my head, he signed a 3-year deal or something to be the Blue Jays manager a few months ago. But as it's clear, right, the Blue Jays need someone that's going to lead the clubhouse with experience. And I mean, John Schneider's a very likable guy within the Blue Jays organization as the manager. However, what does bringing in Don Mattingly to a team like the Blue Jays, which, like I said, choked it in the playoffs against Seattle, but they are right there with some of the best teams in the MLB if they get the pitching, if they stay healthy, and do all those things that matter in the MLB, because the hitting in the rest of the team's going to figure itself out. It's just a few key things. Is Don Mattingly the guy to really figure out those few key things for the Blue Jays, or what does he add?
Well, see, as a bench coach, I don't honestly know what a bench coach does, that to be honest. But from a personnel perspective, I think Mattingly would fit really nicely into this situation. Just again, referencing that podcast or interview that I had talked about in the last question, that he wants to be part of a winning program, is what he said. And I'm not too familiar with the Dodgers pre. Who's their coach now? He's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, Dave
It doesn't
Roberts.
matter.
Is it still Dave
Yeah,
Roberts?
yeah. Dave Roberts. So pre Dave Roberts, I don't know how the Dodgers were, but I don't think it was a winning team necessarily because they didn't win the World Series. They weren't, as dominant as they were now. The Marlins clearly weren't a competitive team. They did make the playoffs one time, I think, in that COVID year, and did well, but like that wasn't a winning team either. And as a manager, yeah, you're responsible for that, but you can only do so much. And again, with Miami, there was just not a lot that he could do. With the Blue Jays, it's a completely different story. It's a team, like you said, that was right there. They did make the playoffs. Probably should have won at least one game if it wasn't for that 9-run comeback
Uh,
against the Mariners. I know you're a Blue Jays fan,
mm,
but like they were right there, and they probably should have won that game. I think you throw Mattingly in there with that experience in the playoffs a little bit. Obviously, he was a player. He's got that experience from a different viewpoint, and I think he would complement a new coach very well, especially with a team that's good. Like Bo Bichette, he's good. Vlad, we know that he's good. Like he has shown that he is one of the best in the league. You throw in a couple of these other guys like Kirk, he came out of nowhere last year. He is going to be one of those players I think that really relies on Mattingly's previous coaching experience and these younger guys who probably are going to be like dual players like he's a catcher, he's going to be sitting on the bench a couple of times. Like that's the kind of manager that Mattingly I think would fit a really good role in, and he can mentor those players in a different way with the support of a good team. So to answer your question in long wind fashion, yes, I think that this will be a great opportunity for him. Very surprising to me. Like I said, I thought he was done just stepping away from it entirely, but he is very much wanting to still be in the game. And this might be his last chance with the Blue Jays, I would say, just because, like I said, he's getting older. And, if you can't win with a good team, then yeah, something needs to change. But it's a great opportunity for him. And I think that, he could really do some damage there with an up and coming team.
So formattingly, I guess what you're getting at is it's kind of that last kick at the can to go out there, win the World Series, have that moment in the spotlight, and really enjoy what winning feels like at the MLB level one last time, right? You mentioned he's 61 odd
Yeah.
years old. Um, kind of what do you think overall? If the Blue Jays really embrace that fact that hey, Don Mattingly is here because he thinks we're the ones that are going to win him a World Series, right? He's got all this experience. He can help us do it, but we're going to win it for him. Is there any value in that kind of sense of thinking from the Blue Jays perspective of bringing in a guy that, right's been in LA, been in Miami, just coming here to simply win, but it's not a player, it's not anyone else other than somebody who's going to be managing more or less this team in a sense from a veteran perspective, but he's not a player that you're trying to rally around. It's a guy that you're going to work for every single day that you're trying to win behind. Is there any
Yeah.
value in that?
I think so. I think that's pretty spot on. It's like you've got a young team with the Blue Jays. They've already shown that they have so much potential. He wants to grow. He wants to take the budding potential and make it shine. In Miami, there was a lot of work to do. A lot of great players there, a lot of young talent, but they're diamonds, they're whatever, before diamonds. They got to be shaped into diamonds. So I think this would be a good move for him. Again, it'll be a testament to see if he is actually, a problem or if he is the solution. But I think it's a great opportunity to take the potential that's really there. It's like right there, and see if he is that missing piece to take him one step over the top.
All right, folks, there we go. We'll wrap it up here. I could ask Clem questions about the Blue Jays all night because, as a Twins fan, he gets the suffering we have up north all the time. Anyway, friends, if you're new to the channel and you've just tuned in for the first time, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'll ask you one more time to consider it. And secondary, if you enjoyed tonight's discussion on Don Mattingly joining the Blue Jays as a bench coach, I would ask you to please leave a like on your way out. I'm Yak. He's Clem. Oh, I still get this all confused. He's Clem. Oh, look at this. I got it figured out, Clem. He's Clem. We are up on out of here.